Welcome back, goons. You're watching Explore the Weird. We're doing something different today. Today, I had another goon named Sam Fisher reach out to me, and he's like, hey, I also make content. Can you watch some of my content for the goons and review it? And I said, okay, we're gonna do this. So, all the videos today are by Sam Fisher. Let's get right into it. You can find his channel in the description down below. And he also does TikTok. That's it. Now we're gonna get into it.
Yeah, let's go to the mountain. Yeah.
Something else you begin to notice when you've been doing this a while is that you'll progress all the way through to the actual controller's aspects of things, and then you'll find yourself right back at the start again, back to the supernatural, back to the paranormal, because everything at its fundamental level is tied to spirituality in some way, shape or form. Yes, it may appear that we live in a sort of secular society and the actual people that are in control are also of that same secular mindset. But that's not true. In actual fact, they're probably more traditionalist and more spiritually minded than we are. And that's kind of hard to weigh up.
Okay, interesting. So you're just thinking about, hey, the spiritual realm, and I know he's got the paranormal background. Okay, let's see.
Something else you'll find whenever you find yourself coming back to the spirituality side of things after that long trek through the various topics, subjects or whatever, is it's not always spirituality that you end up landing back on. I liken this field that we're in like an LP, and we're the needle going round on that LP and reading what's actually written on it. But it's separated off into tracks, and we can choose any track that we want at any time, but we'll always end up going through the whole album at some point, because each topic leads into the next, something that many people ignore a lot.
Okay, I definitely can understand the LP reference. You know, I feel like all the topics are connected, especially when you're talking about the Explore the Weird videos. I'm with you there.
Something else you'll find. Far too many, admittedly, really quite exceptional researchers tend to stick to the same topic, the same subject matter, often dismissing or completely ignoring the ties to others. A good example is the paranormal and ufology, where most ufologists will ignore the paranormal aspects and the spiritual aspects, interdimensional aspects of ufology, which completely changes the whole narrative of it all. We find this with this field, with this alternative research field, that each time you move on to another sort of line of reasoning and understanding, whatever you learnt before completely changes. Very few people understand how.
Okay, that is interesting, and it kind of goes with the LP narrative. I do believe that, hey, what you understood before could have changed, and maybe what you perceived is, what you thought had happened really didn't happen. It's kind of like Mandela effects type things. It's like all time is doing that feedback loop all at once. Hi, Kyra. Yeah, Kyra's all grown up, young, and middle-aged all at the same time. All right, interesting. Let's keep it going.
Very few people understand how adaptable and flexible your mindset must be to actually get anywhere near to understanding anything in this field. Each time you go on another run through, your perceptions will change a heck of a lot constantly, because you'll be getting more and more deeper information and a deeper understanding of what this whole thing entails. Quite a lot of it you probably won't be able to explain to people either, because it's, to them it seems so complex and so impenetrable, whereas you'll have had more time to get a better understanding.
I feel like that has to do with perception, that's the only way you're going to understand. If you want to understand, you perceive that understanding, then you will.
Piece of advice that I think everyone should take on board is that, especially within this field, you need to leave your ego and your pride behind, because there's going to be a lot of times where you're at the back of the class once again and you're having to relearn everything from scratch. Not just because of the amount of propaganda and false information that there is out there, but because, like I said, your adaptability and your flexibility of your mindset will force you into that position, and you need to have the lack of an overriding ego and the ability to put your pride aside to be able to do that. And it's a very hard thing for most people to do. On the subject of...
Yeah, I 100% feel that it is a hard thing. You have to let go of what you thought the truth was before if you want to waken up and get a different understanding, a different perception. I'm with you here, Sam, 100%. What do you think, Kara? Is he right? Yeah, Kara said yeah. All right, let's keep it going.
On the subject of pride and ego, many people get trapped by these two things, these two aspects of themselves, and find themselves rigidly adhering to outmoded and outdated concepts because of the amount of investment that they've put into them. It becomes a part of them eventually. It becomes a part of their identity and who they are. And this is why it's sometimes impossible for some people to actually move past that. But it needs to be done. You need to do it. For some, like I said, for some, they're just not going to be able to, because it's become too much of who they are. But once you do that, you realise how free you are to then learn the truth.
Yeah, I am 100% with Sam here. I feel like you do have to let go of a lot of things in order to see something with a different mindset, and things that you had learned as truth before, and now you're having to learn the awakened truth. Interesting. He also gave me some debunk videos. We're going to go through some of these as well. Okay, that was crazy. I've heard so many theories on how the world's fairs were able to move so quickly. It's almost like, have you ever heard the analogy of like, hey, it only takes a few Amish men to build a barn and they can do it in a day? That's what this feels like. It's just wood they're using, and potentially that's how they hit it. And that's an interesting explanation. It definitely feels like it can be explained in that way, and it's interesting because we've seen other videos where they talk about like the helium blimps and stuff that potentially were used. I mean, I guess they could have still been used to move the lumber. All right, we're gonna keep it going. Yeah, that picture definitely appeared like AI generated or fake. And we've also seen like the Washington Monument with the root branch, and they're like, oh, it's an old tree. It's all. You got to do your evidence, figure out what's really in there. We've seen this type of video. Sam did a great job of breaking it down. Those appear to be real construction. Was that construction pre-fire or post-fire? Was this place ever burnt down? I was thinking of like Netflix's 100 where they got the Lincoln. I'm like, oh, Lincoln always keeps coming back, the Lincoln Memorial. Sorry, ADHD. I think I'm gonna say that today's reactions are a little bit longer form. Hopefully, you guys are interacting with the video, and we're gonna keep it going.
Simulator, same kind of deal, yeah. Yes, there are some simulator patents. No, none of them work. None of the orbital ones. The ones that they do have in use are far smaller, ground-based, and used mostly for hydroponic agriculture and weather modelling experimentation. Yeah. So when they're doing stuff like hurricane models or stuff like that, using wind generators, they use some simulators to simulate the effects of the sun. Right. That's it. There are no orbital ones. Yeah. If there was one in orbit, right? If it was using bulbs, yeah, the strongest bulbs we have are pretty much LEDs, right? They're the brightest ones. To make something as bright as the sun that we see in the sky, right, it would have to be twice the size of the sun. Yeah, it would also have to be twice as far away, right, for it to actually make daylight on the planet. Yeah, which means that what little heat we would have got off that, we won't be getting any of it, so we'll freeze. Plus we're twice as far away. Yeah, we're not in the Goldilocks zone, so we wouldn't exist. If you built it with mirrors, yeah, to get the same effect as the daylight sky, right, to shine enough daylight from the sun onto the planet, you would need a mirrored object the size of the Earth, that side of the Earth, yeah, to actually make that daylight sky, right? And it would have to be really close. If it was that close, the Earth would suck it in and destroy it, it would be all dead, right? If you moved it further away, it'll get darker, yeah, it'll get colder. So not only will it be cold and we freeze, it'd also be dark, which is worse than the bulbs. But you have the JWST. The JWST is tiny, yeah? You'd never see it. It won't shine enough light over at the Earth, right? Even with the strongest bulbs. So you move it closer. Well, the closer you move it, the less light it reflects onto the Earth, right? So you basically end up with New York lit up in daylight and nothing else around it. Everything else would be in darkness, everything else would be freezing, right? Not to mention the fact that it's so close to the Earth that the focused sunlight beam from those mirrors would set fire to New York, right? It would burn it all down, and it would burn down everything around it, yeah? Again, think logically. There isn't a sun simulator, yeah?
In my current timeline, there is no sun simulator. Also, it's all dependent on which timeline you're projecting to. If you're having issues and this is a serious issue, hey, project to our timeline, the Goons timeline, real good. Interesting debunk. Interesting.
Next thing, giant tree stumps. I'm going to go over this pretty quickly. Right, let's take Devil's Tower as an example, because that's one that people always say is a giant tree stump, yeah? Giant ancient tree stump. That thing's roughly 900 feet tall. At its base, it's roughly 2.5 miles, 3 miles, yeah? Oh no, 5 miles going all the way around the circumference, right? The summit, that flat top, which is the reason why people say it's a giant tree stump, is around roughly 1.5 hectares. 1.5 acres, sorry, not hectares. It's about 0.8, 0.6 hectares. For that to be a tree stump, that tree would have to be twice the size of Everest to leave a stump that big, right? Now Everest is already scraping the atmosphere, yeah, scraping the edge of space. So twice that means that at least we'll be diplomatic, right? At least a third of it is poking out of the atmosphere, yeah, into space. Tree's dead instantly. There's not enough oxygen on the planet for that tree to breathe, yeah. Tree's dead. When that tree dies or that top bit falls off, imagine, right, what a 50-mile high tree, yeah, what weight that is, right? Now, chop a third off, so say roughly 15 miles high, dropping onto the Earth. What kind of damage is that going to do? For a start, there won't be a tree stump there left. I can tell you that for nothing. For another, it'll leave a massive trench. No trench there, yeah? Now, as ancient tree stumps go, Devil's Tower is a sapling compared to the other ones that are suggested. That debunks that, right? Simple.
Yeah, I am also a believer that the Devil's Tower may not be a gigantic tree like people say. Unfortunately, in my timeline, I feel like it can be explained by geologists. Interesting. We're gonna do a few more. Oh man, the rest of these are actually really, really long. Okay. We're gonna do just one more. And actually, we're gonna do... I'm sorry, buddy. These are way too long. I do not know if people... Okay. I'm going to link out his videos in the description down below. Make sure you guys check out his channel. Learn the other things he's debunked, because it is an interesting take, and it's always good to learn the different sides. So we're going to do just one more.
It's the same with, take Odin, yeah? Odin is a prime example. Believe it or not, Odin is seen as an outlier, right? Supposedly, by a great many academics, right? But he does have similarities and eerie similarities with a great many of the gods of ancient cultures. Yeah. He's also very, very misunderstood. right? The reason being is because Odin is seen as more priestly and more knowledge focused than his warrior brethren and his warrior children. Yeah, like Thor. Thor is seen as a warrior more than anything else. He's along with being a god of thunder, he also started off as a god of war, right? But Odin's always been very sort of obsessed in a way with knowledge. Yeah, one of the first stories you hear about Odin is he's trying to impress a seer that lives at the bottom of the world tree, right, at the roots. And in order to get his attention, yeah, this seer at the bottom of the world tree's attention, guarding the pool of knowledge, right? He hangs himself from a branch of the world tree so he'll notice him. He sacrifices himself. This also ties into the crucifixion as well. That's another side to this as well. When he gets noticed, he goes down to the pool, and the seer says you need to make a sacrifice of some kind to get the pool to accept you and to give you the knowledge. So he takes out his eye and offers it to the pool, and that's enough. It gives him universal wisdom. So Odin, therefore, is portrayed as a man. Now, this is very important, right? He's portrayed as a mortal first. Yeah, when he hangs himself from the world tree to get himself noticed, it's to bring him to the brink of death, right? So he can then transport himself to the roots of the world tree. Yeah, this has eerie connotations between a great many of the other gods, right? Hermes, yeah, Hermes Trismegistus, yeah, or Hermes in general in Greek mythology is tied to Thoth, yeah, both of them were the same thing. Thoth was a man, he was a king at first of the Kemites, right, and he was initiated into the mysteries, yeah, by a being called the Dweller in the halls of Amenti, which are basically a underworld, if you will.
Nah, man, I feel like I'm missing the other parts. Oh man, Goons, this guy is definitely hitting on some truths and is trying to debunk and make sure we're sane. So if that is something you want to check out, do check out Sam Fisher. I'll have the links in the description. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Definitely a little bit different of content than normal. We're going to be returning back to normal content, so I will catch you guys next time. There should be videos on the screen right now. Click on either one of them. Continue the Goon Fix. The one in the middle, you can subscribe. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye.
Wake up, wake up.